Recording in progress.
Exactly. Okay. Okay. Hello everyone. So welcome to your Science and Tech Current Affairs lecture. This is the first topic, which is Visakhapatnam, chosen for high energy proton accelerator nuclear research. Now let's see this. So first thing is this. Now what is high energy proton accelerator? This we need to understand, and ADS. Now the thing is that understand it like this. So basically you take a heavy metal target. For example, let's say you take, as here taken here, lead or tungsten. Now what they do of this heavy metal target, let's draw the nucleus and this is, let's say, the atom. Then directly proton beams are sent towards the nucleus. So proton beams are sent toward the nucleus. Now what it does not completely split the nucleus, but it splits the nucleus or takes out certain parts of the nucleus, and mainly what is released is neutrons. So many neutrons that are not that tightly bound, that is taken out. Now the approx figure is like, if you have one proton, for per proton there are like 7-8 neutrons that are taken out. Okay, so what happens? Neutrons are then thrown out. Now because of this, what happens? Because of this entire process is called spallation. Spallation is what? Basically this proton beams are striking it and throwing the neutrons away from it. This is spallation. Now why it is important? So now using this, if you have read anything in nuclear energy, you would understand that these neutrons are important to us. Now see, the normal nuclear power plants or reactors that we have, they have neutrons being released from the reaction itself, that those neutrons are used further by them in the further reaction. That leads to something known as chain reaction. For example, if I give you an example, it goes like this. So let's take uranium 235, then it is hit with a neutron. Okay, then what will happen? It will split into two parts, barium and krypton, and it will release 3 more neutrons and energy. Then these 3 neutrons will again attack the other uranium 235 atom that may be there, and the reaction goes on and on and on. Now this seems good to us, but from safety perspective this is not a very good thing. Why? Because so many neutrons are being released and you have to do a lot to control the number of neutrons and control this reaction. Otherwise this is like a chain reaction that will continue to go. Okay, and if not stopped properly, if there is some issue with the nuclear plant or anything, then this will lead to something known as nuclear bomb blast. So basically it will blast like a nuclear bomb. Now the issue is that nuclear bomb as well as nuclear energy follows the same process of chain reaction. Okay, the only thing is that in nuclear, when you are making nuclear bomb, the amount of uranium-235 is very high and you don't try to stop the chain reaction, but the process is same. So there is always an element of risk. Now in this ADS system, what we do, we don't allow these neutrons to continue the reaction. Instead, we get the neutrons from outside. These are called external neutrons. Now, what can be a source of external neutrons is the concept that we learned now. This is high energy proton accelerators. So these can be used to generate external neutrons that can be used in reactions. Okay. Now, these neutrons convert thorium-232 into uranium-233, which is a fissile fuel. Correct? This is what we want. Thorium-232 we have in very large concentration in India. India has approx 25 to 30% of world's thorium reserves. Now, if we can hit this using neutron, then we can get to uranium-233. Now, because these neutrons are being supplied externally, it is much more safer. Understood? This is the whole thing. So, ADS is a subcritical reactor, that is, it cannot sustain chain reaction without external neutrons. Because of this, this is safer than conventional reactors. Understood? Huh? So, this is what the topic was. Now, let us see some more factual points. Now, how does it relate to India's 3-stage nuclear program? So, India has a 3-stage nuclear program that Homi Jahangir Bhabha made. First stage was pressurized heavy water reactors, which uses natural uranium. Now, natural uranium is very rich in uranium-238, some small amount of uranium-235 also. Now, from the breakdown of uranium-235, there is release of some neutrons. These neutrons can be used to make plutonium-239. Now, the second stage is where plutonium is disintegrating and providing neutrons to thorium and then eventually making it uranium-233. Stage 3 is thorium reactors, which directly start using uranium-233. How? By this conversion of thorium to uranium-233. So, constantly we are filling thorium and we are getting this, which is the fissile material. Now, ADS helps in efficient thorium utilization because it will ensure that all the neutrons are hit at the perfect place it should be hitting thorium to get to uranium-233. And as you saw from those proton high energy proton accelerators, you have a very large amount of neutron that comes out of it, and that all can be managed and used in these steps. Now, why Visakhapatnam and the role of RRCAT? RRCAT is an institution under Department of Atomic Energy in a city called Indore. Indore is in MP. Now, why Visakhapatnam was chosen? So, see, Visakhapatnam first of all has a very strong tech ecosystem. It has defense industries, it has port infrastructure, then proximity to the sea, so cooling water is available, important for nuclear plants, correct? Then RRCAT's role is what? So, now this is why Visakhapatnam was chosen, but the major researches and everything will be developed in this RRCAT institute under Department of Atomic Energy. This will develop particle accelerators, synchrotron, laser tech, and then it will be supplied here in Visakhapatnam for making those high proton accelerators. Then application is nuclear, defense, healthcare, all those are applications of it. Then what is the significance? Significance is simple. Strategic significance is what? It reduces uranium imports. Why? Because with thorium also we will be able to produce more and more of this. Then economic, India has 25 to 30% of thorium reserves of the world. Then scientific is what? So next gen nuclear tech, multidisciplinary research, all this can be carried out. environmental, this will be low carbon, less long lived radioactive waste, correct. Why? Because thorium, when you use thorium instead of uranium, it actually releases less radioactive waste, okay, and also low carbon, of course, because there are no direct emissions that we have like in case of coal and all. Then challenges and way forward. What is the challenge? Of course, one challenge always high cost. Then other challenges, complex technology, long timelines, experimental thorium cycle, then regulatory concerns. So all these remain entangled with nuclear energy all the time. Then the way forward is strengthen R&D, local collaboration, integrate with clean energy strategy. All these are simple way forwards. Okay, then next is about peptides. Okay, now see this. So peptides, you might have heard of one that is very famous is GLP-1, if you know, which is glycogen like peptides, where you must have heard this in case of weight loss drugs. Okay, so now why this is in news? So 20th of March is the date where the company that makes weight loss drugs called Ozempic, so their patent is expiring in India. Okay, now because it is expiring in India, now our own generic drug makers will now be making the same different kinds of peptides starting with GLP-1 for weight loss. That means that the thing that, for example, this Ozempic was available around 13,000-14,000 a month, now it will be available in 3,000-4,000 if there is enough market competition at an even lower rate, so that now the widespread Indian population may be able to use it. That's why peptides were in use. Now let's understand it. So what are peptides and why are they important in medicine? So what are peptides? Peptides are short chain of amino acids, that is 20 to 50 only. Now amino acids, you know, the fundamental blocks that also make up proteins, hormones, all those things. Now why peptides are important, understand. So let's take an example. Let's take GLP-1, glycogen like peptides 1. Now GLP-1 is that peptide in our body that does three things. Okay, first of all, it gives signal to generate insulin to your body, correct. Let's say you have eaten, so it generates signals in your body to generate more insulin. Insulin is required for digestion of your food or for the cells to take in the food that is dissolved in the blood sugar. Now next thing is that it delays emptying, so that food is there in your gut for a bit longer. And last thing is that it gives you something known as satiety, that is it makes you feel full, that is it makes you feel that I have eaten enough. Now because of this GLP-1 becomes so important, because it can do all three of these. Now similarly, now using this they made something known as weight loss drugs. So what they said that, see, this signal to generate insulin is fine, this is the main thing that people understood before, but these two are very good for these two are very good for weight loss drugs. Why? Because if any person artificially takes GLP-1 from outside, still he will have delayed emptying and he will feel satiety. That means he will still feel full. Okay, so he won't have to eat anything, and by simple calorie deficit he will start losing weight. Correct? This is what will happen. Correct? So now this is how weight loss drugs were made with respect to GLP-1. Now once you have understood it for this one, now similar peptides are important for different signaling in our body. For example, China has made certain kinds of peptides that can help in regrowth of hair. Usually we say now that once hair are gone, it is very difficult for them to come back, though there are some desi things that you can do, people keep prescribing it, but not very good results. Now they have developed some artificial peptides that can regenerate hair growth in even those people for whom the hair follicles itself have died. Okay, so those are also replenishable using those peptides. So that is why this is being touted as the next most important thing in medicine. Okay, instead of taking the usual drugs route that we used to take, now we will directly be changing the hormonal activity somehow using these peptides. Now, so this is important for biological signaling. These are biological signaling molecules that controls hormones, metabolism, immunity, tissue repair, etc. They bind to specific receptors causing targeted action. Then they mimic natural body signals, fewer unintended effects, correct? Because they are similar to what you have in your body. Like if you were to stop feeling hungry from taking something from outside, that is not what your body does, then it has causes for some other kind of side effects or your immune system behaving weirdly to it. But because this is very similar to the one that is released in your body, that is why it will have fewer unintended effects. Then used in precision drug design, correct? Now next thing, how do peptide therapies work? How do they work? So basically they bind to specific receptors, activate biochemical pathways, as I explained you for GLP-1, regulate metabolism, hormones, immune response, etc. Now key features are what? So targeted action for precision medicine, limited off target effects, injection based delivery, oral breakdown by enzymes, correct? Now last is high biological compatibility, similar points. Now next thing, what is the global status of it? So see, global status, more than 80 peptides are approved. Okay, now 150 plus are in trials, 9% have got FDA approval. Okay, this is the US version of drugs authority. Then it is touted that the market will be of greater than 50 billion by 2030, more than $50 billion by 2030. Now applications, so there is metabolic application, okay, that is with respect to diabetes, obesity, GLP-1, okay. Then with respect to cancer, tumor targeting and all, it can do much better. Then endocrine, hormone therapy, then regenerative tissue repair. All these are ultimately, everything your body does is because of some form of signaling. Now if this signaling can be altered, then essentially you can alter what is happening in your body, whether it is to repair something, whether it is to cause some different kind of things in your body, everything can be done. Of course, right now we have limited use cases, like even these figures 80, 150, these are still small compared to the number of peptides that we have in our body. But eventually we may get to this part where we will be able to calculate most of the metabolic activity in our body using these, if it is supported by governments around the world and not banned like many other things. Then what are the risks and concerns? Now, first and major risk is unregulated sale. Okay, so there are impurities, wrong dosage, and etc. So unregulated sale. Now, right now you need actually doctor's prescription and everything to get weight loss drugs. But if you go to within few days, you will start getting cheaper versions of this. So if you just go to medical store, you can actually buy it over the counter. Okay, this leads to unregulated sale, which is not very good. Then hormonal disruption. Of course, you are playing with your hormones, so it may cause some kind of hormonal disruption, because right now we don't have a very deep understanding of what hormones affect what things. Okay, and we don't really know that what long term effect it can cause. Okay, for example, if I tell you, so GLP-1 in many people that were using it for weight loss have also found that it actually does not just kill your appetite for food, it also kills your appetite for everything. So that means you won't be feeling very happy, you won't be feeling very sad, you won't have any strong emotions. Okay, that is also killed by GLP-1 as per many anecdotes of people. Okay, so there are some issues that are being faced here. So somebody who is already in depression and those feelings of nothingness and all that can even increase because of taking weight loss drugs. So there are certain issues that we have started seeing just with the initial peptides. So over long term it may have very serious hormonal disruptions also. So metabolic and cardiovascular risk. Then self injection, again same unregulated use and misuse. Then cosmetic use, lack of clinical evidence. For example, once this peptides becomes common, it shows efficacy in 1-2 things, then there will be some anecdotal things that people will start putting in themselves. Okay, instead of waiting for the entire clinical trials and everything. Rapid expansion leads to regulatory gaps. Because the expansion is so quick, that's why there are regulatory gaps here. Then what is the significance and way forward? So significance is, this is a key pillar of precision medicine, next gen therapeutics. Way forward is stronger regulation, more R&D and investment, public awareness, global coordination. Very simple. Okay. Then we come to LIGO India project. Okay, so what is this? See, so LIGO India project, this is laser interferometer gravitational wave observatory. See how it works. So basically what they do, as you can see, this is a structure of this LIGO observatory. Now what they do, they try to understand gravitational waves using interference of waves. Now understand how it works. So basically you see here, LIGO detects gravitational waves leading to ripples in space-time. Now how it works? See, two perpendicular vacuum arms are made. So let's say this and this, like this. These are two perpendicular vacuum arms that are made. Now laser beams are sent and reflected by mirrors. So from here they will be sending laser beams which will be reflected by mirrors. Now gravitational waves, there will be tiny change in arm length detected via interference pattern shift. Now what they do, let's say they release waves at the same time. Now even here what they will do, they will find that after going that very long distance. So this is not very short distance, this is like 4 kilometer each. So you are going very long distance, and eventually what will happen? Now ideally if you look at a very small system, then the interference will be in the same phase, correct? Because they are being sent at the same time in vacuum, so the speed of light and everything is same. But what was observed is that when you try to do interference in this, when you take very long length, now because of something known as space-time shift or space-time curve or gravitational force acting on it, because of this it was found that the interference will have some phase difference developed. Okay, and this is what is a demonstration of something known as gravitational waves in action. Okay, now let's see more. So what is LIGO India project? So what is it? The location is in Hingoli, Maharashtra. Institutions DAE, DST, all these are involved. Timeline. So basically this was approved in 2023. Cost is approx 2600 crores. Target is by 2030 they will start showing up like this. Now the LIGO project, that was for the entire world, that has already shown results. That is to prove gravitational waves. That has already been done. Then why is LIGO India in news? So why it is in news? So 1600 crores EPC tender is not awarded, construction yet to begin, government says 2030 deadline still achievable. So basically whatever allocation and everything had to be done, that has not done till now, which is right now we are in 2026, but the government is saying that by 2030 still we will get to it. This actually indicates administrative plus execution delays that are caused even in very highly scientific endeavors. Okay, so even in highly scientific endeavors we are facing this issue because of administrative and execution delays. Then what is the significance? So of course this is important for astrophysics, understanding of black hole, neutron stars. This is a global network. Ours will be the 5th detector after USA, Virgo, Karga. Okay, ultimately this will lead to better localization and accuracy for India. Technology, it will help in development of more precision engineering and lasers, human resource boost to research ecosystem and all these things. Then what are the challenges and way forward? So challenges is what? So tender delays, high precision engineering, coordination issues. Way forward is faster execution, global collaboration and research in and investment in research ecosystem. Then we come to hybrid electric vehicles. Now understand what is this. See this. So basically just by the name, yeah, so just by the name also you can understand that this is hybrid of electric vehicles. That means it will have both. That is, hybrid electric vehicles will have ICE engines also and electric motors also. Now some people have doubt, will it have electric engines? Now that is wrong. So when you are running a vehicle by electricity, then you only need a motor. When you are using petrol or diesel, then you need something known as ICE engines or internal combustion engines. Okay, so it actually has both of these and it can run on both of them. Okay, now so combines both power sources, better fuel efficiency plus lower emissions. Okay, then this is no external charging required. We'll understand why no external charging is written. Then switches / combines modes, engine for range, motor for instant acceleration and silent drive. So let's say you are traveling in city, then you can use electric motor directly, correct? That much it will be charged and you can go. Also now let's say you want to go from Bangalore and from Bangalore you want to go to Chennai. Now Chennai is far, correct? Now for that electric vehicles to run that far in a single battery is very difficult. Charging takes time. So what you can have hybrid EVs, and in the city region, at least in Bangalore or till nearby region, you can use the electric motor, and after that you can use the ICE engine to get more range or reach Chennai or similar places which are far apart. Okay, so this is what it combines here. Then hybrid electric vehicles was also one of the statements in a question in 2025. Now how do HEVs work and charge themselves? This you understand. Okay, now so basically engine plus motor operated together or separately. Now see this, how does self charging work here? This you need to understand. See, first and the most advanced one is this called regenerative braking. Now understand this. See, let's say a vehicle is running on diesel. Now this is the engine and eventually this axle will have motors or whatever. Let's do using motor only. So this is, let's say, motor. Now motor is connected to wheel. Now what happens? Now this, let's say it is running on electric motor or IC, whatever. Ultimately this motor is turning this way and it is also turning the wheel this way, correct? This motor is being powered by, let's say, electric battery or ICE engines, does not matter to me. Ultimately motor is rotating and it is rotating the wheels also and the car is moving forward. Now when you put a brake, what happens? When you put a brake, what happens? While braking, this wheel suddenly stops using friction, correct? Friction with the road. This tire stops with the use of friction. Now because it stops with friction, a lot of energy is lost as heat. Okay, now that is waste of energy, correct? That also hurts your tires. So now they have come up with regenerative braking, where what will happen, instead of this, so this wheel was moving forward like this, so suddenly when you brake it, what happens? This wheel actually starts moving in opposite direction. That will also stop the wheel, correct? That will also stop the vehicle. So it starts moving in opposite direction. Now if this is moving in opposite direction, the motor also starts moving in this direction, and in this time this motor, from something that was turning the wheel, now wheel is turning the motor, and this motor starts acting like a generator. This may be connected to a module through which it starts generating electricity that is used to charge the battery. This is the entire science. Of course, this is limited right now, that you cannot get full charge, immediate charge because of this, but this has shown results. So this is the first way, regenerative braking, where kinetic energy is being converted into electricity. Okay, then next, motor acts as a generator during braking. This is fine. Then engine in some designs charges battery, as I explained you. Then no plugins required. So now this is another way where what you can do is, using the engine, internal combustion engine, you can generate electricity, of course, and from that you can charge battery. Okay, this is Why? It is said that no plugins will also be required. So ultimate aim is, see, electric batteries, electric vehicles have a major issue that you have to charge them, and that is what you want to fight. You don't want to charge them and you want to travel long distances. Okay. You want to travel long distances using it without stopping anywhere. So hybrid electric vehicles may be the future that way. Okay. Then what are the types of hybrid vehicles? So there is parallel hybrid, where engine and motor connected to wheels operate together or separately. Series parallel, electric only, or engine generates power, both drive wheels. Okay. So there are different versions. Plug-in hybrid, so external charging plus regenerative braking. This is what I explained you. This is the most advanced mode. Then what are the advantages and disadvantages? So advantages, what is advantage? Better fuel economy, especially city driving. Why? Because in the cities it will be using electric motor. Yeah, and then lower emissions. For whatever length you use electric, it will be almost no emissions. Then no range anxiety. Why? Because apart from electric, you also have ICE to increase the range. Then less brake wear. Why less brake wear? As I told you that because of the constant braking, the energy is lost in friction, that also damages your brakes and tires. That also will be protected, and your battery can also be charged using something known as regenerative braking. Then disadvantages are of course higher initial cost. The technology is right now very complex. Then battery replacement cost, eventually this is a major cost in electric vehicles. Then less advantage on highways. Okay. Now last topic is National Highways Green Cover Index. So this is the first green cover index that the national highways have released. Now this was based on remote sensing and satellite data instead of on ground practice. Now let's see this. So what is National Highway Green Cover Index? So this is National Highway Green Cover Index. Now what is this? This is percentage of land within 1 kilometer segment covered by green canopy. So within 1 kilometer stretch, they will say what percent is covered by green canopy. Let's say this much or is covered by green canopy, then they will say that 60% is covered in this region by green canopy. Green canopy, you understand? So basically trees on both the sides, these are called green canopy. On the middle you will have roads. Okay. Then measures vegetation on left and right sides of the highway, as I explained you. Then uses chlorophyll data for objective assessment. Now chlorophyll data, understand how chlorophyll data works. So basically what they do in remote sensing, through satellites they are, so let's say this is leaves. So now this is leaves of the plant. Now the leaves of the plant, from the sunlight that is coming here, it reflects near infrared radiations from it. Now these near infrared radiations can be observed by satellites. So these satellites can observe these near infrared radiations. Now the good thing about it, that if a plant has more chlorophyll, then it will be much more greener and healthier. This you understand already. Now the thing is, it also releases more near infrared radiations. So if on the satellite itself you see more infrared radiations coming from this area. That means it has more green cover. Understood? So, using this they have done assessment. First annual report by NHAI, National Highway Authority of India. Then what technology is used? So, basically space based assessment by ISRO. Then data was used from ResourceSat and Cartosat. These are the satellites that ISRO has already sent in the space. So, this is 5-meter multispectral, this is high resolution verification. So, this is giving you the data, this is for verifying. Output is Bhuvan GIS portal, maps and reports. So, all these they have used for the assessment. Then what is the coverage and policy linkage? So, coverage is, it is covering close to 30,000 kilometer of highways in 24 states. Okay, and this is just the start of it. Okay, in all the policy is to get green highways following Green Highway Policy 2015, that is plantation plus survival responsibility. All these will be covered. Eventually our aim is to have most of our highways covered by green canopy. Now, how it can help? So, see, green canopy is helpful in many ways. Now, one thing that you must know is all the dust that is released in India. Now, people keep talking about pollution and PM 2.5, PM 10, all that is fine, but the major issue in India is actually dust. So, a lot of dust is there in the atmosphere that we live in. Okay, why it is so? Because we have a lot of patches of uncovered land. It is not just because of construction, this that, because we have a lot of patches of uncovered land. Now, if land is uncovered, whatever soil or whatever is there, once it gets dry, it will start flying, and that is why you feel dusty in almost all cities of India. Okay, now this green canopy can do what? It will also cover this. Under the canopy, you will also have grasses and everything. So, it will cover the land. So, there won't be uncovered land. So, you will be safe from dust also, and also it will be better for the roads when they are covered, and there are many other advantages of having such a green cover. One is simply this is the best way of forestation as well. Okay, so this is the best way how you can increase the green cover all over India, because there are so many roads that we have developed. Now, what is the significance? So, first is this is scientific quantitative green cover measurement, then improves monitoring and accountability. Now they have marked that this area was covered this much % by the trees. Now, suddenly if it disappears, at least the government and NHAI will get to know. Okay, so this is very important for monitoring and accountability. Supports sustainable infrastructure. As I told you, future is that right now we have done it using satellite data and this that, and finally a report is released. Now, this in future will be done by machine learning, which will do auto classification, that is just seeing it, constantly observing it and classifying it and generating any, let's say, discrepancy or any issue that is there, observed there, that only will be related to a human and they can take immediate action on it. Then change detection to vegetation loss alert. I explained this to you already. Carbon sequestration integration, that also needs to be integrated. Okay, so this is what is expected from this first report. This is just the start. Once it becomes more machine learning oriented and using modern tech, then we can really develop this along our highways, and it will also, it is a very good way of beautification also. If you go around in different cities around the world, you will find that trees are planted all along the roads. Okay, this is very important in every way that you can think of. Also it will help us have proper areas for people to sit, walk and everything. Otherwise, every area is almost occupied by some person or other in India. So, all that is taken care of. This is a very good step. Let us see how with technology we can ease this out and get this report. Report is coming for one whole year. That should not be the case. Report should be there constantly. There should be constant monitoring and constant alerts being generated. That is the future. That's it for our current affairs lecture. Thank you.